A lot of people ask me what kind of wood finishing I use for my charcuterie boards. Well, I use Odie's oil. It's got a pretty good label. I love the label they've designed for it, but you mix it really well because it does sit, and you don't use that much. You use probably just a little bit of what's on this spatula. I put it on a Merlon pad 2500. I soak it up in that. It's food safe, and you just rub it on really good. And it's just, I don't know if you can tell in the picture of how beautiful it makes your product. But you let it sit like this here. You'll let it sit for a good while, and then you'll come back and buff it off. And that's about it. So we have this side that we've done, and this side that I'm getting ready to do. And when you put it on, you'll let it sit, and when you can see your finger mark on there, it's time to buff it off. I'm going to give it a little bit more time though. But the guys over at Odie's Oil does a really good job on explaining how to use their product. And the product is just by far superb. It's just beautiful. It makes your wood look gorgeous. It makes your epoxy stand out. It's just a really nice product. I love it. And no, this is not a paid advertisement. I mean, it's just a item I like, and so I'm sharing it with everybody. So we'll continue to put this on here. You don't have to wear gloves. I mean, it's completely safe, to food safe and everything else. So I'm going to take a little bit here from my spatula, about this much here. It's kind of a lot, honestly. I didn't really need this much. I'll move the camera to see where. That's all I put on there. I'm just going to take this Scotch pad and apply it. This board is so beautiful. It's for an old friend of mine, and she is just gonna love it. At least that is the goal. So I sanded this all the way from 80 grit, 120 I mean, 240, to 320 to 400, 600, and that's what I did with the wood. And then on the epoxy, I went to 800, 1,000, 1,500, and sanded each one for probably a good 10 minutes. 1,500 after that, I did 2,500, 3,000, and then a sheet to 4,000. And finally, I finished it at 5,000, which is kind of high, but, you know, as you can see, it's just, you know, you get the results from it, you know. The more work you put into your finish, it's going to look a little nicer. It's going to show. And that's what you want. I mean, it's beautiful. So once I started sanding at 1,000, it was wet sand. You know, I had a little mist on my sandpaper on the electric sander, and it was all wet sand from 1,000 grit to 5,000 grit. This board is really cool. It's going to be a reversible board. It's marbleized up here on the top, and then on the other side it's white marbleized. So it's really cool how that turned out. Pretty stoked. So we are going to let this sit and cure for a little while. We're going to come back in 30 minutes and I'm gonna buff it off. So hopefully you got something out of this. I'm gonna post it on my channel, so be sure to subscribe and hit that like button. I appreciate it.